Mike Ward with Live Explore Real Estate in Petaluma. I am with Sebastian St. James and Travis James, Petaluma Music Royalty. This is the Ward Report. Boys.
Royalty.
Royalty.
Like
Royalty
that.
for the last 15 years
that.
since I knew you.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that feels good hearing that.
We go home and sit on our thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your velvet thrones.
Yeah,
at home.
totally.
All right, I'm
gold records.
gonna throw some true and falses at you guys.
do it.
I want to see if you can answer at the same time, so if we can see some opposing true and falses. All right, we're gonna go through 4 or 5 of them. True or false?
Do you want to
no
do like a
explanation.
countdown so we do it at the same time kind of thing? Like true or false, 3, 2, 1, boom?
Let's do it.
Something like that?
All right, first one. You guys have played endless gigs and seen a lot of live music. True or false? There's no such thing as bad live music. 3, 2, 1.
False.
All right. All right. The Beach Boys album Pet Sounds is superior in all ways to the Beatles album Abbey Road. 3, 2, 1.
False.
I can't true or false that.
That's a tough
That's
one.
100%
I just can't.
false.
It's a tough one, huh? I know what my answer is. So you're going Beatles?
Yeah. I mean, Pet Sounds is incredible, and it's an engineering masterpiece for sure.
Yeah.
But I just think they got more out of the Abbey. You know, the Beatles one. They got more out of that. I think, personally.
Sebastian?
I feel like if you were to ask, you could literally ask because the Beatles were looking at Pet Sounds.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
the Beach Boys were looking at the Beatles, and it was very well documented that they thought that either record was superior.
I think that's why.
Yeah.
And
I
so-
asked it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, music is so opinion based. It's like you can't really. It could be like you could have been through in a bad divorce when you heard Pet Sounds for the first time. You're like,
Yeah.
I hate that record.
Yeah.
And it could have nothing to do with.
And for
really
me
what's going
personally,
on.
I'm just honestly just not a big Beach Boys fan in general.
Okay.
It's a great record. Obviously, I respect it. I've listened to it many times. It's incredible. But I'm just also I'm a little biased,
Yeah.
in that sense. But
Okay. All right. Next one. The most disrespected instrument in rock, the bass, is actually the most important piece of a rock band. 3, 2, 1.
True.
But you go
you're
back and
wavering.
forth again.
These are things that I
Fully
can't.
true.
I
I know,
can't
there's
go
tough
hard
ones.
one or the other.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
mine's hard true.
Yeah. No one wants to be bassist.
Well, bass is the glue that brings the percussion and the melody and together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the unsung hero of music. It's the thing that just literally brings it all together. You know?
Yeah.
But a great bass player with a shitty drummer, terrible band. Shitty bass player, great drummer, can work.
Good band.
Yeah.
So drums is...
Especially in rock music.
I disagree
right?
with that, but
Yeah. Okay, next one. If you...
I say could, not guaranteed, but it could.
But it could. The
There's
possibilities
some subpar bass players there's just some incredible drummers that have carried entire bands.
Yeah.
Like bands that are just incredible drums, incredible singer, and the rest is just mediocre.
Yeah.
That have made it to the top because they look good or they were right on the scene.
But you got to have a backbone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be terrible. With this
It
'cause it's so hard to.
It gets a
They're
bad.
very tough answers.
Bass gets a bad rap basically just because. Basically, because it's always in the background. It's not something that's usually the first thing you hear in a song, like you would a vocal or a drum fill or a guitar lick. It's not something that most people that's not a musician would listen to music would attribute to, like, oh, that bass line. Except for the obvious,
famous ones.
Famous
Yeah.
ones. So, I think it's just as simple as that. The masses, it's just whatever they hear. But personally, as a musician, I think the bass is probably the most important thing in the music, just because it glues everything together.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's a lot of, like, in
so
what
many,
sense, too, of, like, how do you mean?
Well,
but
Prince's "When Doves Cry," one of the biggest hits of all time. Great fucking song. No bass on it.
Yeah.
Like,
And when he
Chris
put it
Willis?
out, it was
Yeah,
cool.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can do anything you want.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
It's everything's so subjective when it comes to like arts or you can't. It's going to be impossible to answer true or false. I think so because like Prince, when he put that song out, he literally said, "Watch everybody get mad at me for not having a bass on the track," and it blew up. It was like a #1 hit.
And bass is the first thing that hooked me. Is the first moment I remember was "Heard Through the Grapevine."
My first
That's the
instrument was bass.
first, like distinctly, like 5-6 years old. I replayed that intro probably 100 times on the record player, and that's the first thing that drew it. Never played it since.
My first instrument was bass. That
Was
was
it?
my first original
Same here.
love.
Yeah.
And I still play it a lot. Like, I still play bass quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, this next one's on writing. If the way you create and write music does not evolve over time, it dies a slow, uncomfortable death. 3, 2, 1.
True.
Yeah,
So
I thought
true.
that's a no-brainer. You got it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta-
Although it's funny, it's a no-brainer, I think, for artists, but for fans,
Well,
it's
exactly.
they're up in arms, right? You start
Because-
changing your style, and they've hooked
There's-
on to your first
yeah.
couple albums.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
it's true to the artist. From an artist, of
Yeah.
course, it's true. Like any real writer will tell you that what we just true,
Mm-hmm.
but industry wise, and if you want to look at numbers and money and all that kind of stuff, and the business side of it, sometimes straying away is actually the complete wrong move and basically can ruin a band.
Yeah.
But again, what's your version of success is really what that comes down to.
Yeah.
Metallica, a perfect example.
Yeah.
Well, the question wasn't success though, which is the cool thing. It was
Just about writing.
It was about like you as an artist, where you just you'll die.
That's what I'm saying.
If you don't swim forward, if you don't push forward, if you spend all your time looking backwards, you are literally going to be standing still, and you might not even know it. And there could be millions of people listening to your music.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And you might not even know it
Yes.
because there's still a paycheck rolling in.
Yeah.
I mean, how many bands have lived that death?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so many.
Still sitting there.
Yeah.
They sell their
same
same amount of
songs.
tickets. It's like, that's the one thing about music, I think, is that you can either take it like an art form, or you can take it like a straight up like a business.
Like a business, yeah.
And like you can do it either way. And
Yeah.
I think the luck comes as if you nail both those in one way or another. And that's when you look at like from the Elton Johns, the Ray Charleses, to the Princes, to the Tom Pettys of the world. These people that just, even like the Dave Matthews Band, people, whoever outlasted and kept going and going on. Even like Beyonce, Taylor Swift is like the best example of that. Change often, respect what people love about you, and be fearless. And that sometimes also it's fearlessly being like, yeah, I'm gonna play this fucking thing from back in the day.
Yeah,
I still love that song,
Yeah.
even if it was like, I wanna hold your hand.
Yeah. And I've seen artists do both, like Ray LaMontagne. I'm a huge fan of his
Oh,
he's
yeah.
the best.
And I've seen
He's
him evolve out and then come back.
I was just gonna say that was my comment was about to be off of Sebastian's. Is that you also, most artists would say, like, you don't have to be afraid to stay. You don't have to feel like you have to evolve unless you're really ready, or you're stuck or something. If you're feeling good in a lane, stay in the lane for a little while, or whatever. Or if it works for a while, but any good artist or writer, eventually you have, like, it just comes with the territory. Like, you're going to go, this isn't feeling the same as it used to. I want to go a different direction.
I think business advice and inspiration advice are two completely different advices.
Yeah.
If you were to be able to sit down and be like, I feel like I can't write anything. Like, what would I do? What can I do? I just can't get a new song out, or it takes me so long for a song. Or whenever I write something, I get so far and it's junk to me, and I'm embarrassed of it. The advice that you'd give that person, I feel like, would be the opposite. You'd give somebody who's going like, I'm not selling tickets. I'm not getting my band off the ground. What is happening? It would be be such conflicting advice, because one would be like, hey, you're not writing. Go and just do everything absolutely different than you've ever done before. Get out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
Stop writing.
Yeah.
Like, stop thinking about music for as long as possible. Go live
Get away
life
from
so
it
that
for a
life
while.
gets into your music. The business side would be like, put your head down, grind, find your lane, stick in it. If something's working, do that over and over and over and over again until it works really, really well.
Yeah.
That's why I think you need, like, even if you look at.
Because then you can sway off if you want to, because you're steady now.
Yeah.
Well,
That makes
but
sense.
then that's the thing is, that's the end all black hole of conversation, because what is steady, is that good? Like, there's people that are steadily living a life, making lots of money, are very unhappy.
Yeah.
So, like, you got to balance happiness, and there's so many elements, and it's so distinct to who you are and what you're, I guess, not to sound like super modern, but whatever your truth is in the moment of yourself, it's so important to figure that out. And I think it will always stem back to, like, mental health, how you perceive yourself, how you're able to love other people, how you're able to love yourself. It gets down to a very simple thing that, like, cavemen would have probably been thinking of without the vocabulary.
And music itself, as a thing in the universe, it evolves no matter what, it just does. Music always will evolve. I mean, it's constantly changing and then going backwards and then changing, going forwards. It's
Look
kind of
at,
an amazing thing.
That song Fast Car.
Yeah.
Such a perfect example right now of this whole thing.
Luke Combs.
Yeah, because Luke Combs played it. you know, brought it back, took it to number one as a cover song. Yeah. Biggest song, one of the biggest country artists alive. Sorry, one of the biggest country artists alive right now. Covered a song from the '90s, exploded it. Biggest song on his record, biggest song of his career, and then they just sang it on the Grammys together. That revitalized Tracy Chapman, and now she is now selling her version of it.
For sure, brought her back in.
Substantial.
Which is
And they're
off the
going,
top.
I think they're playing it together at an award show sometime.
They just did the Grammys.
Oh, they
last
just
year.
did.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and they did it together, and it's
It's amazing for both.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. It's like, it's so fucking beautiful how music can do that, and also in a time when people, I mean, I feel like I don't need to go down this hole, and nobody wants to go down this hole, but like in a time where it's like, it's a very divided time, people would say.
Yeah.
I find that I don't think that is true as it seems.
Yeah.
I think the internet might be divided, and people that spend their time on the internet a lot feel the division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's really that divided in real life with people that are actually alive, feeling and breathing and living. And that song is such a proof of that.
And sharing that
You
passion.
couldn't have
Yeah.
more opposite backgrounds, more
Right.
opposite ages,
Yeah.
more
Races,
opposite genres,
whatever.
Yeah.
race,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
And they come together.
And they come together, and
Sweet.
it's about love.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how you're feeling, and it really boils down to simple stuff.
Yeah.
Very simple little things.
Yeah.
You know, that are like just like,
Totally.
oh, it's
Yeah.
all right. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
The world is crazy, especially on the internet.
But we got this.
Go
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
And we could share in this.
Yeah.
All right. Nothing in life besides
True.
kids and a wife. Yeah, true. Exactly. And what I meant to say was true. Nothing in life besides kids and a wife, I'll save you from an argument at home, beats the feeling of playing a near perfect rendition of a song you wrote to a sold out crowd. Is there anything better? From that feeling, the feeling when you play that song that you wrote and you
greatest
look
high
in
the world.
There's nothing better.
There's nothing better.
I'm trying to think of if there is something better.
And I've chased them all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've chased them
This
all.
is where you finish,
And
right?
trust
here.
me, that is the
That's
greatest
the one.
feeling
That's
in
the
the
Holy
world.
Grail. Yeah. For you?
Well, I was just to compound on it. It's like, it's not just for music. It's whatever your passion is, being able to be able to present it or do that job and have people praise you and like just love you for that song and connect, that connection.
Which is a piece of you.
That
song.
I think
It's
is
an
just
extension
is
of
like
you.
something you can't explain. That's
Yeah.
that's the universe just giving you, that's some otherworldly
heavy
stuff.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sebastian? You think?
I can't think of anything better, to be honest. Like, other than like, childbirth and stuff
Totally.
like that. Like, I don't know. I don't think I could think of a better high.
I can't imagine. I mean, me playing at a campfire and someone digging a song and the way that it makes you feel, and then 100x that, right, on stage.
And what's
sold-out
funny
plays.
is that feeling for me personally is actually just as
Is it?
is fulfilling.
Yeah.
Playing it like a few years ago, I was at a party. I didn't know anybody there. I was invited to come jam. Knew a few people. At the end of the night, I ended up making friends with everybody. We're at a campfire, passing around the guitar, a few musicians, blah blah blah, and I ended up playing a couple songs and literally like captivated the little campfires, like 20 of us. And it got to a point where like people were in tears, and it was like it just was a joyous moment, and it's just a campfire, it's just some messing around,
Yeah.
And that feeling was just like being
Just
on.
the same
It's
thing.
very similar. So there's something about just connecting
Yeah.
with people with something that you created that you usually want someone else to feel or just at least connect with it in their own way. I think it's just incredible thing.
Well, that's one of my favorite musical experiences ever. Do you remember the first time we played? You probably don't.
Oh, wait. It was at
Trace Embrace.
Yeah.
I'm playing my first live gig ever. I'm
do
nervous
remember that.
as shit. I've got all my friends there. I've got this shitty
Then
little
I come and
amp.
play the whole.
You walk by with a guitar.
Yeah.
And I turned to you and I go, "Can you play with me?"
And I just
And
sat
you
in
go,
with
"I'll
those-
be back in 5 minutes."
Yeah, I brought all my
and
gear.
you went and got
Yeah.
your gear and came back and we
Yep.
played for an hour and a half.
Yep.
And it's still one of my favorite.
I remember like,
experiences I've ever had.
I remember because you didn't really know how to use
I didn't know
your gear
anything,
yet, so like,
yeah.
and it was like not sounding very good, so I tuned
Terrible.
everything up for you, got it all
Yeah.
tight, sat
And then
there,
we went.
and I just kept
And
being like,
it's-
"I got this, dude. Don't worry about
I
it."
reflect on it all the time.
Yeah, I remember seeing your face change when I brought the gear in and you saw me like
The comfort.
setting up in the comfort.
Oh, it was a
zone.
blanket, man. Yeah. I'll
Well, that's
never-
what it's all about, man.
Never
That's what
forget
it's all-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
All right, we're shifting out. A couple more questions to get to know both of you. You can answer independently. I'll start with you, Seabass. You are shipwrecked on an island with a record player powered by the sun. You get one vinyl record for eternity. What album is it? I know it's a tough
This question kept me up last night.
Yeah.
Actually, this is easy for me just because I listen to vinyl a lot at home, and I have a record player that oddly enough has like a repeat switch.
Yeah.
So you can put on a record, you flip it on repeat, and so that will play forever. It just always puts the back to the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And so I find that can be very annoying. But I have this Ray Charles greatest hits record.
Mm-hmm.
He's just sitting on the front playing piano with his head up in the air, and I can literally listen to that one side of that record. I could listen to over and over, and I have over and over and over and over and over and over again. It never gets old. It never burns me out. It's got so much going on. I don't know.
That's your
Ray
one.
Charles' greatest hits, would
Yeah,
be for sure.
that's a good one.
And it's an
I mean,
old greatest hits. It's not like some modern greatest hits. I got this at like a
it's
thrift
the,
shop.
It's,
like
the
Oregon.
it's to me, not to interrupt you, but to me that's because we talked about it on the way over here. That specific one is to me the quintessential. That is his greatest hits record.
Right.
It's like
There's
it's a great
of
album.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah,
is. 'Cause it's got all kinds. It's got Georgia and it's got Hit the Road Jack. I mean, it's like, and it's got all this stuff in between.
Yeah.
It's like. I don't know, something about it. It's like super accessible jazz, soul.
And it's remastered, so it sounds just incredible too.
Yeah, I mean, it's vibey.
Yeah,
Well, and the
it's a
vinyl
good
component
choice.
too, which I'm a huge vinyl
Yeah.
guy, is like you know where the imperfections are, you know where the scratches are.
Yeah.
You like almost look forward to them. After
I have one
a certain
Sturgill
amount of time.
Simpson record that like got scratched. It's a new record, and I don't look forward ever. I know on this one song, every time it gets to it, it's gonna go.
It's a big
And
one.
I'm like,
yeah,
it's like right like the middle of a solo too. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is so weird. I can like, I've almost memorized that scratch because.
Man, yeah, this it was a tough one for me because I mean, I know Sebastian does too, but I listen to so many different styles of music and so much music. But I broke it down to two, and I'm trying to think of which one I want to pick right now. Songs in the Key of Life is probably would be one just because that's the one I put Stevie Wonder. That's the one I put on anytime I'm feeling just like I need an uplifting, and every song on it's a banger, and they're all fun and
So
just
high
happy,
energy.
like just high, like
Yeah.
just and his voice is so soothing, like it's just fun, and there's like just cool parts. I could listen to that album over and over.
What's your other one?
My B pick was more like just the Allman Brothers Fillmore East.
Yeah.
Oh, and that one's more because it's just that's the album that shaped me as a guitar player. That when I heard that album for the first time, it changed the way I thought about music in general. Because Dwayne Allman's my guy, my favorite guitar player.
Yeah.
And just the way that he was fearless on that live recording. He blatantly makes mistakes, and they're very obvious, and and then he gets out of them so good that the mistake was actually amazing, which is like
Just music.
They go
yeah.
deep
Just-
on that show too.
Yeah.
Is that 3 shows combined into one album? Is that how that is?
I
like a
think that's
3-night
it's a
run
3-night
and
run in '71.
Don't they rip
in
off like a
October.
22-minute
It's it's
Blue
almost
Sky?
30-minute Mountain Jam.
or Mountain Jam?
Yeah,
okay.
because there's only 7 tracks on it because
Yeah.
Mountain Jam takes up
all of
the
them.
one whole side of the record basically. Yeah. So,
Okay. Cool.
yeah,
both
so-
all good picks,
yeah.
and both of those remind me of childhood, especially
Yeah.
Stevie and Ray. That was my dad.
Yeah.
In the car,
Yeah.
just in the back seat, tapping my foot the whole time.
Yeah.
Ray Charles got something. Some of the way he sings,
Yeah,
makes
Ray
you feel
Charles
it's
like a
okay,
warm
but it's
blanket.
not like a happy okay.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like it's almost like a
It's
dad
or
a parent.
Where it's
being
like, it's okay to
it's
be sad.
okay.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, it's okay to be sad. It's okay. It's going to be okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Which I think is such something in there. That's how it makes me feel.
Sure.
You need more of that. Not
Yeah.
it's gonna be okay or just it's okay.
It's all right.
It's okay.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Not you don't have to be happy.
Do you think Jamie Foxx did him justice in the movie?
Fuck yeah.
Oh my
what
God.
a
That's like one of
movie
the
that
Did him
greatest.
was.
justice.
Oh, yeah.
He crushed
He was
that.
exact.
Yeah.
I
Like,
mean,
he was right.
True.
Yeah, well, because
He
he's
was- yeah,
already
exactly.
he's already an incredible vocalist himself.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
an R&B singer. He has his
Yeah.
own studio at his house. Talks about music all the time. He's he literally
head
went as
movement.
far as to he glued his eyes shut.
Did he?
Yeah,
You
like tried to
method
get all
on it?
method
Yeah,
on
yeah.
certain days to really feel what it was like. Walked around, just really,
Well, he works
really
so
tried to
close.
embody it, and
Yeah.
and completely killed it.
There's a
did.
cool thing he talks about. I don't know if I remember the story. I haven't thought this in a long time, but him and Ray Charles worked very close to get that role together, and like Ray Charles was on set for every single
Oh,
moment of that
wow, I
movie.
didn't know that.
And right when the movie wrapped, he passed away.
Oh,
And
man.
so Jamie Foxx said, he's like, you know, I never really thought of myself as a piano player, you know, or a musician. I'm a singer. He's like, but I always thought I was a good singer. He's like, but Ray Charles, he was blowing my mind. I'd sit there and I'd be singing, and Ray would just look at me and laugh. And I'd be like in the middle of a take, and he'd be like, what's going on? He'd be like, man, just sing the right note, man. You can hear it's the wrong note. Sing the right note, man. He just like does it.
It's so easy, right?
And then Jamie Foxx, but that's the thing, Jamie Foxx like, I never thought of it as being that easy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just instantly would just start singing the right note. He's like,
Yeah.
you hear the wrong, just sing the right
Yeah,
note.
he's basically
It's
like,
just
you're
the-
trying too hard, man.
Yeah.
Just sing the
You
right
got
note.
Oh, can you imagine the pressure with Ray
Oh, yeah.
watching you?
You know, all the
Yeah.
hands in that movie are Ray Charles's hands.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
actually
yeah.
him playing.
Every
Yeah.
piano part is Ray Charles.
Even that
actually playing.
famous
Yeah.
where you can see his hands playing through the glasses,
Yeah.
and it's Jamie Foxx's face.
Yeah.
They actually did that like in a real camera trick where it's, they set it up with messing with the angles, so it's actually Jamie Foxx and his glasses, but it's Ray's hands playing that part, and it was all in one shot.
What a way to go out to see your life perfectly encapsulated.
Dude.
You know,
Yeah.
I wonder if he saw it because he passed away when it wrapped.
I don't think
Yeah.
So it never got
I don't think
edited.
he
I'm sure he
could.
saw the dailies and stuff.
Yeah. I hope he was happy.
I don't think he could,
earned
though.
that.
But, yeah, well, no, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. True.
I mean,
True.
I'm sure you
You're
wanted
right.
to.
Definitely
but-
heard it.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
There's no way.
He-
He's like, what's this movie thing, man?
Yeah.
Oh, let's
They'd have to
talk
give him
about
the
movies.
script in Braille and just like have Jamie there just doing the parts for him.
Yeah. All right. Only two non-music questions in the entire podcast.
Yeah.
We'll start with you. You're going on a 30-day juice cleanse. What's the last meal you eat before you go on a month without eating? It could be taken from different areas. They could be home cooked.
So like just one. What's your?
What do you? How you? Yeah. Dead man walking.
before- Dude, that's a tough one. Damn. Honestly, just like just a not well cooked steak, a baked potato, and like some some greens.
That's an American answer, boy.
Yeah.
That is an American. What type of steak?
I don't know. Maybe a T-bone, but I don't know. I can't think of that.
No, that's good though. The
T-bone
staples.
probably.
Yeah. All right.
Staple.
Seabass?
Yeah, I'd say a steak for sure of some type.
Yeah.
But I'd want to go if it was like the last meal ever, I'd probably want to mix it up and get like I don't know, like a fat steak of any kind or multiple different kinds of steak. But then I'd also want to get, I'd want to get like a burrito. Get
Oh,
from somewhere.
All of it.
I would just want to get all the flavors.
Sure.
And just go around, reach by, get like some truffle fries in there. Maybe big old steak truffle fries, you know.
Get weird.
Some mashed potatoes.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe even like a fucking Wendy's
Yeah.
junior bacon cheeseburger.
And the
Bring it
baked
back to
potato
old
It's like
times.
something you have like once a year anyway. You're like,
Yeah.
whatever.
The baked
Yeah.
potato has to have cheddar cheese and sour cream on it.
All of it.
With tons of like butter and stuff.
Bacon chives or no?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Loaded.
Oh yeah.
Stark's
Full,
got an
fully
amazing
loaded.
potato.
Yeah, it's funny. I was gonna say a Stark. I wasn't gonna drop the name, but I was gonna say a
man.
Stark's menu would just be fucking badass.
Yeah. They don't
So
do
good.
anything wrong.
Yeah.
Just just bring that menu out, and it would have
Yeah.
all the variables.
For sure. Last one before we get into the meat and potatoes. You can live without working in a city, any city, for 6 months. Where? Why?
I think it would just be like any city in Hawaii.
Okay.
I feel like something like that, just something chill, like the Big Island. Just like live it up. Because it was because we don't have to pay for anything, right?
No. Yeah.
money's no
all
object.
free. Money's no object.
And that would be the one place I would like to just anywhere in Hawaii I'd like to experience money's no object in, because that would just be a chill, relaxing place. And you know what's funny is I never thought I would choose that as a place because my wife's family goes there a lot.
Yeah.
So I've only been there a couple times in my life since we've been together, and it is such a chill place. I can see why people
Right.
that are rich go out there and have like a place to hang.
It forces you to slow down.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, just like the idea, it really forces you
It
to slow
does.
down.
Even getting a meal takes 40 minutes to get
Like,
a
so what are
sandwich.
we doing today? I don't know. We might go get a cocktail. We might
Yeah.
go to the pool before we go to the beach. I don't know. I'm like, that's like really hard for me.
Yeah.
To indulge in doing nothing is really hard. It's almost stressful for me to not do something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, well, let's go on, like, we're going to do some hikes today. We're going to go on some explorations. I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't think so, man.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
The transition back's so hard too when you're there for 6 to 8, 9 days
Yeah.
and you come back and you wake up that next morning to an alarm clock.
Oh,
and
man.
that schedule hits again. You're just like, it's
Yeah.
a jolt.
It is a jolt.
We all need that. We
Shoes
all need
again.
that. Yeah, just to tune down. How about you, Trav?
This was a tough one. I'd think something like either like somewhere like maybe like Italy or Spain, probably Spain.
Okay.
Just because it just is beautiful. I've never been there, but I know a lot of people from there.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of friends that came from there, and it just seems like it's got everything. It's got it's got mountains, it's got beaches, it just got so much history and it's close to other cool countries.
And a culture that does it right?
Yeah,
It takes
yeah,
naps.
yeah.
Everything's slow.
yeah.
Food's cooked
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they've figured it out.
They have like
killer
two
guitar
lunches,
music.
Killer
two
music.
lunches throughout the day. Like there's like
Tapas,
first lunch and second lunch.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into. I told you about my first experience, Marvin Gaye, right? That was the first thing that really brought me in. That I just replayed that intro 100 times when I was 6 years old. We'll start with you, Sebastian. Was there one singular moment that you can remember in childhood that hit you and you said, "Music's never leaving my life"? Right? Like this is my journey, my path, or my love or passion.
Yeah. I think I got. It's funny. Is I got kind of two. I have like one that like music hit me and I fell in love with listening to music, and then I have become a musician because like for me, I've always really I was raised in a house where my dad listened to records and there's always music playing. Even my mom, she was less of a music enthusiast, but she always had music is always playing, spinning around. And so those early days of hearing like everything from like Cream to Jimi Hendrix to even like AC/DC and Clapton and stuff, like I had my brain going like this is really interesting and had me thinking. But I didn't start playing until I was 21, and that was because when I was 21 there was a kid that was playing guitar that my dad had met. My dad worked kind of in the music industry, and so this kid came out to stay with us for a little bit to just kind of like hang out. My dad was like, this kid's like a virtuoso musician, and he really was. There's a band called Mr. Big that was like taking him out on tour and stuff.
I'm the one who's going to be with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he was like there when I met him. He was there like in the middle of the show. They bring him out. They're like, meet Chris Wilson. This guy's gonna shred your face. And he looks young still to this day. But even then, when he was young, he looked even younger. So it's like very kind of a shock to the system to see a kid just destroy a guitar and sing and just you're like, what is happening? So that kid's staying with us, and I had never played music. I kind of was like, yeah, maybe whatever my dad played. I was kind of like with like fiddle, like playing bass, but like this, like for like blues jams. And I sat down with this kid, and I basically lived with him for like 3 days in my dad's house, and he would just like play the guitar at me and sing at me, acoustic, electric. And the way I was feeling, I was just like, whoa, I had never felt so much emotion from just a person doing their thing, like closing their eyes. You think you're feeling it when you're seeing something big or a concert or something like that, but like it doesn't seem tangible.
Yeah,
at least to me, I'm very self-deprecating.
Is...
Like I battle with insecurity and like thinking I'm even worth having words to speak out loud. So like the idea of like making music, oh yeah, that would never have happened for me until I saw this. And I was like, dude, this is crazy. I was just really clicking, like, what are you doing? He's like, I just practice scales and I copied this record. I did this, and he would sing real deep for like a kid. Like a kid who's like 12, 13 years old. You're like, what is happening? But that moment for me was what I would assume would be like the same for like when Tom Petty saw Elvis on TV for the first time.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, boom, you're like, oh, this isn't just the radio. This isn't just the entertainment business. You're like, wait a minute. If I apply myself to something magical, I could maybe achieve that. It's not guaranteed, but like maybe it just seemed possible. I could maybe achieve making somebody feel the way I'm feeling right now. And then it was just on. I was like, after that, all I did was just try and find a way to make somebody feel something if I was feeling something.
Yeah.
Something about that was my lightning moment burst.
So is that part of your inspiration and journey in music, is trying to create that feeling in a person, the feelings that you feel when you listen to music, that same passion in someone that maybe hasn't found it yet?
I think it kind of maybe it started in a way that was something like trying to make somebody feel something, or like if I'm feeling this way, if I'm feeling sad and I sing my sad song, they might feel sad with me and then we can feel better together. But now I think it's more like nuanced and complex than that for me. It's like if I can get somebody to feel something, like it could literally even be like, I don't like this guy. Like I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
I'm
Emotion.
striking the chord. And
Yeah.
there's a thing that resonated with me a few years back. I saw an interview with Erykah Badu, and she said, I think it's crazy when people ask, do you like this about music? She's like, I will never ask anybody if they like my songs. She's like, I'll ask them, do you feel anything? Like you can tell me, like, do you feel something? It could be bad, it could be good, it could be nothing. She's like, if somebody says they don't feel anything, then I know, scratch that one. It's out.
Got it.
It's out, done. I'm not feeling anything. Because it kind of that. So to get to, I digress. Coming from a place of trying to make somebody feel something, I've found is the wrong way to go for anything. Yeah. It's the same as like the person trying to argue with somebody to get them to change their point of view. It's not going to happen. Feel deep, feel everything that you can, and just like let it be out there. And then if that stacks up enough, people will, at least for our situations, hey, will you do this? You want to do the show? You want to open up this cool gig? Or you want to headline this cool show? Or would you like to be a singer in this thing? Or can you help me write this song? Or can we work together here? Or even just, I love that you're doing things. Like that's like the important thing now for me. And that'll probably change when I'm older. That probably won't even matter.
Yeah.
Wherever I'm at now, it's that. It's like the amount of like reciprocation you get from the people around you.
People reaching out just to want to.
Just to kind of give you a little bit of support saying, hey, keep going. Because, everybody knows that if there's no middle class in music anymore, you're not financially successful on music. You can be successful even in music and not be financially successful.
Yeah.
And that's I'm talking like making what they say nowadays. You need to make like at least $90,000 to $100,000 a year to kind of just be alive. Like that's like the new middle class. It seems crazy.
Yeah.
I can
Especially in California. It's like
that's a lot of money. So I mean, you have to like
hustle.
You can't base money success on that. But so I think that people nowadays, I feel like, give a lot of support emotionally. I think to anybody in music because they know you're sacrificing a big part of living. Taking vacations and these things you don't get to do as often because you're choosing a different path.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that it can't work out, but you definitely shouldn't be aiming for it to work out for you financially.
And values are equated in different ways, right?
Exactly.
It's not just a financial equation. It's emotional, passion, response,
totally.
mood, whatever.
Yeah,
for sure.
How about you, Chabby?
Well, the one that made me, I mean, music was all like my dad was a traveler and kind of a rambler. Like, I moved to a different city every year for most of my life. I lived in Alaska on a boat, lived with natives. Like, I mean, my godfather was a native Alaskan, and so but my dad always had music on. We'd go on trips, always, and it'd always be like country, old rock, cool stuff. And he'd tell stories. He's my shout out to Bear Claw. He's an incredible storyteller. So we just drive, and sometimes he just make up stories and put on tunes, and it was always so. And then he was also very free with letting me I wanted to write. When I was young and you write novels. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. But music was always there. And then one time, him and his friends all had tickets to go see the Rolling Stones. I had never seen a concert before at this time. His date bailed on him. He couldn't find a babysitter. He said, fuck it, you're coming with me. They shoved me in the back of this limousine with this big party crew of his friends, real wild. I was like 11 or something, maybe 10 or 11.
Loving it.
And I went and saw the Bridges. I think it was Bridges to Babylon tour in like 93 or 92 or 93. I went and saw the Stones at the Oakland Coliseum. Wow. And after seeing that, it was like, wow, this is rock and roll. Yeah. So that was the first thing that made me really just kind of go, music is this. So I started writing poetry and then writing more. But I never played. And nobody in my family plays music, instruments. They're all just music lovers, so I was always around. And similar kind of Sebastian, basically, I was a pretty troubled youth, is a nice way to say it. And really didn't have a lot of options and basically moved up here to kind of change my life and try to find a new way, you know, and I basically started just practicing guitar and playing and just locked myself in a room, practice scales, you know, just finding that thing, started working at the Mystic, you know, just washing dishes and doing lights and just, you know, worked for free for like the first year because I didn't have any experience. But then watching shows and building it up, and that's right when I met Sebastian, and he was kind of in the same, like literally right around the same journey of finding him, you know, just started playing and it just clicked, and then literally, like, I had never been in a band before. I'd never even played a live show before. Sebastian had already done those things, and he had lived in this house, this band and friends of his, and long story short, basically, when that ended, he called me up all bummed out, and I said, fuck yes. And he's like, what? He's like, all sat on the phone. I'm like, fuck yes. Because they kicked him out, you know, and then I was like, dude, grab your guitar, come to my house right now. We're starting a band.
Was that Hillside Fire?
And that was technically intercourse.
The
inner course, yeah.
We've never taken it too seriously.
Yeah, that was just a bar band. It was just us getting started, and then
free beer.
Yeah, I mean, like the first like EP we put out, me and Sebastian were homeless. We were couch surfing, and he had a 16-track digital recorder, and we would just couch surf, and during the day, whoever's house we crashed at, we'd record some songs.
We made an EP called Without a Home.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. And then we got our a spot together, and then we met Taylor James and Shane Schlick, and then
two sold individuals.
The rest was history. We just got the house and did it. We lived in the same house together for about 7 years.
Yeah,
practiced every day. Everybody did side jobs when they could. But we just did
struggled to pay our $1,200 rent with like eight people.
Yeah. Literally like the
I remember that house. The bonfire in the back.
Yeah. It's so funny to think about that. Like struggling to pay the rent. There's 8 people living in the house that cost us. It was like 12 or
it was like $1,300-$1,500.
Yeah, that's your food bill.
The rhythm section literally just put like tapestries up and sectioned the garage off into 2 rooms. Because we already had the main rooms in the house full up with people.
Yeah,
that's so fun.
Well, let's go into a tune.
Yeah.
I want to go into songwriting and talk about that a little bit. But why don't you start with a tune?
Cool.
Yeah, let us know what the title is and.
Yeah, what do you want to do, Trav? You want to do?
I don't know. I'm kind of feeling nostalgic since we're talking about the old days. But do you want to start with something newer?
No, that's
There's a pick in there somewhere. I know it.
I got next one. Right?
Capo. It's in here somewhere. Let's see, nostalgic. Do you want to do like Welcome Home or?
Yeah,
I think they're all kind of nostalgic.
Yeah, they're all kind of nostalgic, isn't it? You pick the first one.
Let's try to put down the gun. That's just like a fun one to get us warmed up.
Okay.
Got time signature change in it.
Yeah.
So you write your own tunes, right?
I do.
Yeah. How do you writing your tunes these days?
Yeah, it's funny. We're gonna go in that next.
Oh, okay.
I've gone through stages, and I'm like the last 6 months I haven't written much. I go through like a push of 2 or 3 months of writing, and then life gets in the way. But I always I lay the music first.
Okay, cool.
And then I do the lyrics second.
All right.
So I get like the rhythm of it in my head, and then I write, and then I try to just kind of form it up and make it work. How about you?
All are different.
Yeah.
All are different, I think.
You don't have one way where...
No.
Yeah.
I don't have one. I have... The only constant is that nothing is consistent with me on how they come out.
Yeah.
Some I can't explain, some I'm working super hard at, and I'm chasing them forever, and just like, I want to make a song that's like this way. Yeah. I guess we'll get into that.
I still remember giving you lessons up at that house. We did some guitar lessons up at... what was that spot that you lived at? I came to your house.
Cherry Street?
Yeah, Cherry Street.
Yeah, the condo,
remember that?
man. Yeah,
we came and did a couple lessons at your house.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
Not well. I'm not.
No, I'm glad it got.
But it gave me a
I
base.
remember, it pushed you farther into writing more. And,
Totally.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right.
Put Down the Gun. This one's called.
Put down the gun. Yeah. Little darling, just put down your gun. got nowhere to run. I know just what it's like. Yes, I know just what it's like. Lord, I wander through the night in search of, oh, the everlasting light. Get it out of your head, my little darling. Oh, just get it out your head. Life is an empty bed, my little darling. Oh, just an empty bed. I know just what it's like. Yes, I know just what it's like. Lord, I wander through the night in search of, oh, the everlasting, oh, the everlasting light. This one, it's for the broken hearted. Oh, it's for the ones in woe. It's for the weak and departed. No, it's for the rich. Oh, for the poor. Oh, no. I know what it's like. Yes, I know what it's like. Lord, I wander through the night in search of, oh, the everlasting, and I know what it's like. Yes, I know what it's like. Lord, I wander through the night in search of the everlasting light.
Hell yeah, boys. You still got it. You still got it.
Yeah.
That's great. So tell me, let's go off that song, right? Like, how does it start? Like,
Let's see if that song is really, that's a throwback.
That's an old one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at remembering where they came from. That was definitely old band house days.
Yeah.
There would be nights where me as like the singer guy, and I was not a very good singer back then at all, and so there'd be we partied every night, and I loved to party, so I knew that I had to like sometimes just lock myself in my bedroom and not join the
hide
party,
away,
or I
yeah.
wouldn't be able to like talk the next day.
yeah, yeah.
Because we'd be like, oh, go loud. So I would just, to cope with that, I would just write songs and, headphones, crank myself up. And so I think that one actually probably started with this,
Yeah.
And so I probably went like, I bet you if I were to search my voice memos, it's probably a, I remember that was the first time I ever wrote like a time signature change in a song.
Yeah.
Because for anybody who doesn't know what that is, like the song has got this like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, but then it goes to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
It goes from 3, 4 to 6, 8, basically.
Yeah.
I remember the first time we ever played it live was actually we played.
4, 4 to 6, 8. Yeah.
It gets full when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time we ever did that song live with the full band, you might not remember this, and I only remember because of Sean England. We were just kind of new friends, and I really looked up to him as a drummer. He was just always playing with like the best musicians. And we opened up the Lagunitas Amphitheater for, I don't even remember who we opened up for. We opened up for somebody. It might have been like a local singer. It might have been like us and like Royal Jelly or something like that. But it was the first time we ever played that song. And afterwards he comes and he's like, you know what? Your songwriting is starting to get good because of that song right there. And then he's like, the one about the gun. He's like, that's the first time I ever heard you have a song that would sound like a real song. And I 100% agree with him. Like, I remember, like, with that song was, like, the only song I had that felt like Travis has always been very good at, like, being able to, at a party, pull out a guitar. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I am not that guy.
Yeah.
There's no way I can turn off my internal voice and just be like, everybody just wants me to fucking leave right now.
Yeah.
I feel that way when I'm not playing a guitar at a party. I'm like, it's just like, what? Nobody wants me here.
Yeah.
So it's like, the idea of pulling out a guitar is literally... Oh my God!
Well, it can be very cringy, but
not even cringy.
But I'm saying there's a way to kind of.
My confidence doesn't lie in that place, and so for me though, that was like the first song I had where I was like, if somebody was to be like, you play, sing us a song, I would always shit my pants. I'm like, there's no way I'm doing this. I can't do this. And I would just always say no, and they think I was playing coy, and I'm going like, no, I'm not gonna play a song right now. And then they think you're an asshole, and you think you're too good to play. You're like, no, the opposite is happening. But that song, once that I had that one like in my pocket, I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, I'm already in. Once I start to that, I'm like, I'm excited to be here. I can feel the world I've built in my head. I can feel the metaphors and like the place. The song is a world that I can feel.
I've always been, honestly, I could easily say Sebastian's the biggest fan, as brothers. Like, it's just how it is, It's like, I love his songwriting. That's, and that was one of those songs that I really pushed. I was like, when he I was like, dude, that's a banger. We like keep playing that. Let's keep doing that. Needs to be, because eventually there was a point down the road. We played it a lot, and we were going in a different direction. One year, I remember we were kind of like pulling that song back a little bit, and it was just it just happens sometimes because some other songs need to come in. And then I remember a couple years later we pulled it back out, and it was like, it just clicked. Oh yeah, this is always a good song.
Yeah.
This is one of those ones it's always a good song.
And I love when you talk about the party, I always flash to Animal House, Belushi.
Oh yeah.
That's how I always felt playing at a party. Someone's going to grab my guitar and just smash against the wall.
Yeah, I feel like for me, it's less of Belushi style. Like, I'm never fearing like somebody's going to smash it. I'm more just going like why?
Yeah.
Like, my brain cannot, I think about like, dude, if Ray Charles was sitting right here with a piano, he'd pop this place off. Yeah. I'm like, so I can't turn that part of my brain off. I'm actually better at it now, but now we're older where I'm not really house partying.
The real trick to playing just a party at all, no matter what the setting is literally just not like taking your artistic self out of the room and literally just playing to the people. Yeah. Like, not being afraid to play like a Sublime song that you would never play, in any situation or want to play, but it, and everyone in the room is just going to sing along and have a great time.
I'm terrible at covers.
Yeah. So, there's a certain, because if you can get them, that was always my secret to it. Like he was saying, I always felt I was good at it, is I would play these specific songs that were covers that were always pop off the party, and then once I got their attention cold, then I'd play like an original that was really close to me, and then they'd go, oh, and then now the floodgates are open. Sure. Now I have the freedom to kind of play whatever I want.
Yeah. Well, that song. Another question I have on, like, so you started with that rhythm, right? Mm-hmm. How does the collaboration aspect come in and help that song evolve? Is it?
So for like that, I won't be able to speak exactly to what happened there, but I'm pretty sure I could probably we could walk through and figure out, because it's similar for Highway Poets, which has always been, there's been other members, but it's always been Travis, Taylor, and myself. Mm-hmm. It'll usually be like, I'll be like, hey guys, I got this thing. I think I could do this thing. Maybe there's this thing, that could happen.
Usually at least has like a verse and a chorus.
What do you think? And then we'll just play it. Yeah, over and over and over again. I'd be like, oh, you know what? It got really boring by the second verse. So what do we do? So be like, okay, so maybe instead of the song going like right off the bat, because that song could easily be like, put down the gun, little darling.
And now it's cheesy.
Just put it down, but to like start like, we probably played it a million different ways.
And then like what? If you notice, I tuned my guitar differently. I tuned to an open E tuning, and that added more like depth to the guitar parts, because now this guitar just rings out as he's doing the lick, and it's kind of cool. It's got this big pad underneath it, and so just all of a sudden now we got this cool, and and I can kind of chug along with it, and it's got this great rhythm, and then from there you just kind of
it's just all sitting there going like, what do you guys think of this? Should this be there? Like it might have even been like it might have probably wasn't until the band was there. I might have been like singing a song like, put down your gun, and then it might have been eventually, should I be like, put down your gun? Like, guys, is that cool? And they'll be like, you go up. That's a good idea. Or I might have been singing like, put down your gun, put it down. It might have always been like that, and the guys might be like, what if we tried chill at top? It's a lot of bouncing off each other.
I do remember in the very, very beginning, I think you played it very timidly, like, but it was still good, but you put it down. It was like, and then and then once you started pushing it, that's when it was like, oh, whatever that was, do that.
Yeah.
And then you kind of, it builds that confidence. Because that's part of the collaboration too, is, you're there to kind of build each other up.
It's a lot of jamming and stumbling for us, I feel like, now I'm thinking about it. Like, I can just imagine that when we were like, we probably didn't go like, the song should end like this.
Yeah.
I'll bet you we were going like and probably we looked at each other like, oh, what if we just go?
Right back in,
And I was like, yeah, that's it, and then
because then I did
Taylor
that.
would play a bow on an upright bass. And
And then I wrote that lick line with the bend into the end that ended up on the album, and that was like that was it.
Yeah, it's a lot of stumbling through, like jamming, and we'll be like, or sometimes like the whole band will totally botch whatever bridge I wrote, and then they'll be like, what was your bridge? Like, no, that was
it.
Whatever that was. Yeah.
Everybody went like that way instead of this way, and that was way better than whatever we could have thought of.
Yeah.
So to take that a step further, right? You come up with the rhythm, you start writing the lyrics, you get the collaboration, other guys come in, song forms, you start playing it. That song a year later, 2 years later, is it the same song, or does it keep evolving?
Sometimes it is. Like
Depends.
that's a song that since we finished it, like I'll bet you that's identical to how we played it. At the Logging Museum that 10 years ago.
We're just better at it.
Yeah, better.
But it's the same.
But
form,
some songs
the same,
have to change, because some songs might be, at least for me, like I have a really hard time feeling like I can like. If it wasn't in a place, sometimes you settle for a song to survive, and even if you don't make that a part of the conversation with the band, like you go like, yeah, that's good, we'll get a clap from that. My brain will go like, I know that's good, but I'm like, I don't have my shit there with it, or that's not exactly what it will be. Like one that we play like that like really comes to mind actually is Devil Owns the Sun. When I wrote that song, it was like,
like me personally, I miss this Russian. But it changed, and now it's this whole different thing.
I should have gonna be the same. But now, like that has gone through so many changes. There was a point where it was like even like kind of reggae-ish. I've like over the last summer I was doing a lot of jamming with like other people like outside of our band, and it got to this really like real, for me, what was my taste at the time. It still is my taste, but like different from what poets do. Is it got real like R&B, like Chris, Dave, Erykah Badu type of shit, where it was like this, like. Go, mama, like the way you came. Surely love. And now I think it's kind of leveled out since then in the way I've played it over the last month, and I think the last time we all played it together, it's gotten over like a. It's like
a bridge the two together kind of thing.
So those influences outside, and that's something, I'm a Fish fan, right? I've always liked Fish. Yeah. And 98 to 01 is my, sorry. I just love Trey. I've always dug the scene, and 98 to 01 was my favorite Fish genre because they got dirty. I mean, it was funk.
Yeah, all my friends they say that was
the time period. And now I've
time.
Backed off a bit. It's just not so much my style. So you're saying that song over 6 years can evolve in 4 different ways depending on your outside influence?
Totally.
Well,
some songs can, some songs can't. Like I'm a firm believer that a great song can be played. Like the majority of Bob Dylan songs can be played in any genre, and they're going to work because the lyrics are engaging, and even the chords, even if they're simple, are pretty either so simple that it's beautiful or something cool going on with it. Where it's like a good verse pop formula, verse chorus. For me, one thing that we've been up against a lot, if I could go back and tell my young self something, I'd be like, don't get pissed off when things change drastically within a band, like a drummer quitting, or somebody not being able to be available for the band because of personal reasons. Because it taught me a lot about having to figure out, okay, what I believe inside and what I really want is not always, and most often, more often than not, is not the case. It's not what it needs to happen. So if it's like, oh, I want to play it this way, or it needs to be this way, out the fucking window. Because a drummer leaves, you're like, well, that drummer may not be able to play a funk groove, but they can play the hell out of a tribal groove.
Yeah.
So maybe that song's gonna, or they can't fucking do train beat, but they can get funky as fuck. So like I think Devil changed for that reason. It's because we had a more funky drummer. I won't do names of people, but like somebody who didn't really know how to go like. Who wasn't really going to cook there.
You want to play to your strengths of the people you're working with.
Yeah, and so you kind of play to what you got. And so like, for me, if I don't have like another guitar, like Trav can shred guitars. If I don't have a guitar player next to me, because I can't shred, I can play like bluesy leads. I can't shred though. Like literally, like the term shred, I couldn't do it. So I'll play songs a little slower, like I'm jamming with people, or because I'll be like, let's groove it out, because I'm going to be better at like, I'm not going to be like, I'm going to be more like.
Yeah, it's also the beautiful, kind of the beautiful thing about what really attracted me to being, just Sebastian in general, even in the early days, was that even then he was writing what I considered good songs, and he looks back at them and probably does, oh, those are and they probably are beginner songs or whatever, but he always had this great knack for just writing, and he always had his open mind, but to his good or bad, whatever, but he was like never satisfied a lot of the times, but in a good way, to where he would always be searching, which I think is really important in music, always searching for something. And sometimes it'd be for the worst, where we'd go through and play like some songs we have played for like over 10 years, and they've probably we've probably played it 15 different versions of them. Some of them that we've even forgot, and then eventually even came back to the original first version and went, oh, this sounds great. And we listen back like, oh my God, we didn't change anything. Yeah. So it's just what we're always searching for, what the song needs. And I love that fearlessness about him. And that's because like. It's
also a lot of confidence, to be honest.
Yeah. But you just got to try stuff, because it's just, if you're not feeling reactions from somebody the way that you think you should be feeling, maybe all of a sudden now you think it's a bad song or a bad part or a bad, whatever. Not bad, but like it's not working. And so you got to not be afraid to experiment and move on from it, but also not be afraid to go back. That
is the rub though with like group artistic, because like when it comes to poet stuff, even if I write the song in my head, I'm not going like, all right guys, I am the songwriter and I'm in charge of the song. It's like Taylor and Trav could say, fuck that song, or awesome song, and that's as important as me.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't need that bridge. We need a bridge. Or this is fine. It's not fine. Even if I'm like, I want to do it funky now. If they're like, I think I like it better bluegrassy.
But we'll do it.
They'll do it. But it's like, but we all kind of like, we always used to have to say it was like 2 out of 3 doctors have to agree.
Yeah.
So no one person is ever in charge at any time. It has to be 2 people agreeing, and that's like, that's like
which was huge because it'd be easy to go down a rabbit hole of changing it until now we don't even know what the original song was.
Totally. But see then that's also to me that's a little opinion based too, because the way my brain works is I feel like I can, because I'm writing constantly every day all day. I have so many songs going that I'm hanging on to. My brain just latches onto those kind of things, and granted they're like my tunes starting from my brain. It's easier for me to remember stuff that I made up. So it's almost like I think I have to like remind myself that can be daunting for people.
Yeah.
That it's like no. It's like it hasn't changed that much. We never have a bridge. We haven't figured out the bridge yet. And even when we last played it live, we played it with like a bridge that we all agreed wasn't there yet. And that might be somebody else has already, since the last time we had that conversation, is like worked on their own music, worked on just their own jobs, their own lives, and things like that. And where my head never stopped thinking about, God, what is that fucking bridge? What's it gonna be? Even if I don't come up with something, I just have. I'm thinking too many things at one time. It really is a distracting thing. You talk to my wife about it. She literally fucking.
But I think that's what makes you a great writer. I personally think that's what makes you an amazing writer, though. Too is that
lots of irons in the fire.
Yeah,
something's always coming. It's coming up. Yeah.
Well, how does live performance and taking that song and taking it live for a year affect it? Like, where you're inadvertently doing something different within a live performance and then coming back and regrouping and saying like, this worked.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
crowd
yeah.
popped.
Oh, yeah.
Like, can we go more than, does that?
Oh, yeah.
That's why
that-
touring is my favorite thing to do.
And
We
some
haven't been able to
songs
do it
have different versions. Some songs have the live rock in front of the big crowd versions.
Totally, yeah.
And some songs have like the, if we're sitting here playing acoustic versions,
Yeah.
like in this mode.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And I was saying, well, my madness of like the way I am kind of a messy creator of sorts, and I have to like constantly tell myself to like chill out. And I'm not saying this in a good way. This is like, we all have things we're working on. That's like the thing I work on.
Self-deprecation.
But it kind of like helps. It kind of helps with our band because they know that I like to explore and I can't even help it sometimes. So live,
Yeah.
So it makes us a pretty elastic live act because if the crowd is feeling apart, and I just everybody just sees me do something different instead of them all shitting their pants. Excuse me, instead of them shitting their pants.
We go with it.
They just go with it. Like it's all good, and that actually really makes a special thing happen with the crowd, and that's something that I just literally allowing that to happen in my body. Something I just lifted from seeing Tom Petty live.
Yeah.
I was just watching him do it all night long, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Holy shit, this guy's one of the biggest ever, and he's doing this thing I always want to do that I thought you weren't allowed to do."
And similar for me, like I same thing. Like I would always be fearless on stage and with Sebastian, always have his back, and I don't care. Mistakes are just a step towards something greater.
Mm-hmm. We got there.
Yeah,
it took a long time. Both of us, I think, used to be real sticklers about things being exactly a certain way for so many years, and I think it made us better at getting good at something.
Yeah.
So it took a little bit of time, I think, for both of us to like learn to get off of that a little.
Yeah.
I know it took me I spent last summer doing that abusing myself with like putting together bands and not rehearsing them and taking them out and play a live show just to see how much you shit the bed. And you're like, wow, that went great. They didn't even fucking know. They didn't even know the music.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit. So when you bring that level of it's all good to people you work on tunes with, it just makes for something special. It's just growth. It's all fucking growth.
Yeah.
And you have to shit the bed every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big thing with, I listen to this podcast with comedians, and like when they bomb, how that inspires them, how hard they come back to improve or, get better in any way. Like, you have to.
There's a great, Tom Segura is one of my favorites. He's so good.
Great.
And he had a great story about where he it just was a random bomb story where he goes up and brutally bombs with his opening joke, and it was some big early on in his career where somebody had said, "Oh, this guy's really funny, give him a chance," and they were kind of like, "Okay," and he had like 3 shows in a row and does this opening bit that just crashes and burns. I mean, so bad it was like life changing, and then the next night, basically the management came up to him and was like, "So, it was a little rough last night. I thought you were funny. Just don't." And then his comedian friend was like, "Just don't do that one joke." He ran out and he's like, "I'm gonna do it again." It didn't work. It just didn't work. And then he did it again, and it bombed even harder.
God.
And then the third night, he did it again and still bombed.
Yes.
But
That's just you're figuring out.
But he just had so he finally went, "Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work."
But there's a lot of like musicians and comedians are similar.
Yeah.
I think all there's the best joke ever. Like
I think so.
all comedians wish they were musicians, and all musicians wish they were funny.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. But but just to go back to that, the fun thing is like you experimenting with the rhythms and the timings of things, because like in that song, like comedically speaking, like if that ending that we had, it's like. That works because of that timing. If you go. It's like it's fucked. You're fucked. And that timing is like everybody going. It's like and that's probably what he's feeling as a jokester.
Yeah, you got to be able to.
God, there's a timing in there.
There's
something funny in there.
You got to be able to fail numerous times.
Yeah.
And be fearless.
To rush or drag or just pull and then to realize it's bad. I mean, we bombed. We have bombed.
Oh yeah, many times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so based on the collaboration we talked about before and all the positive that comes with it and what you add, let's talk about the negative of collaboration and ego.
Yeah.
Have you experienced that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how does that end? How do you get past it? Because that's got to be
It's every
somewhat
situation's
normal.
different for us.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, since we lived together and we had, did the whole we're gonna be in each other's lives every day, and then we're gonna jump in a bus and be in a smaller space every day, and it was really good because the positive was we really got tight and we really were able to work things out and have fun and everything. Negative was we spent a little too much time together, and just in general in life that you get a little. I need some time by myself or away from these people or whatever it is, and it's an up and down with that, but. Ego is a tough one because we were really young then too at that house. We were all in our 20s, and so we were all still kind of figuring out what our egos were, and everybody had a different version of it.
Especially if you believe in something, like if you write and believe, like that's a piece of you.
And
we
we
very
were
vulnerable.
We'd be brutally honest with each other, till where there'd be fights and physical sometimes and all kinds of stuff. But in the end, we were always. I feel like we were always good enough to. Even if it got real bad, sit down after everybody calmed down or whoever it was, or it was two people or just me and Sebastian button heads or whatever, we'd eventually sit down and work through it and really be honest with each other. And then eventually, we'd come to, the realization that, and it's not about right or wrong. Yeah. It's just about growth, and it's about just understanding that, everyone's, got their own feelings and their own thoughts and, and that was tough. But I think through that is what kind of helped us kind of grow up musically, in a sense.
And the dynamic of a family, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Never
I tell every. I mean, it's true to me. Sebastian's my brother, and so is Taylor. Taylor James, Travis James, Sebastian St. James. I mean, that was all, just kind of came naturally, and the James brothers.
Yeah. Let's do another one.
This is actually a throwback one. It's
This is one of my favorite songs Sebastian has ever written.
Yeah. Another
or
one
we have written, I guess.
What's the title?
I mean,
Walk Away.
Walk Away.
Yeah.
As I also love about Sebastian is, to be honest, most songwriters, especially once if money comes into it, which I don't think would ever even happen if it even did with us, but eventually when they write the majority of the lyrics or things like that, that just is a big thing in the industry. A lot of writers, and happens so more than you think, get into this whole it's my song kind of thing. Yeah. And one thing I've always loved, what makes I think our collaboration so strong, is that Sebastian has always been an advocate of this is our song. Yeah. We worked on it together. But it's
everyone
ours.
has ownership.
This is our song. We wrote this song. But in reality, he wrote all the lyrics and the chords and stuff. But every song's different.
A big part of that is inspiration. To me, is I think is more valuable than the idea. You could have a whole song to play and sing to you, but it's where did it come from? And some songs are inspired by another artist. Some kind of come out of nowhere, and then some are kind of like this one, which is much why for me. All the time we spent together, living together, somebody would say something sometimes, and I would just be like, that could be a song. So as far as I'm concerned, that song wouldn't exist without
Sebastian told me, still tells me, he's like, there are so many songs I write just because of things you say, because I don't have a filter with my brain, and I just ramble and I just go, and then you'll see Sebastian go like,
well, this song is a good one because I wrote this. This is one of the songs I wrote. This song so fast. It came out by myself, completely alone. But it came from an experience that we all had as a band, where without putting too much on it, because it's a darker story. Back in the day, we used to throw these big barn parties, just raging. And we had. The last one we had, somebody had gone put a flyer up at a high school, and all these high school kids came out, and it got insane. The entire high school came out. It was
they trashed the property.
They trashed it, but then an accident happened out on the road. Oh, wow. It was it was so brutal, and it was just terrible, and it ended that whole scene because it was just too much. We're like, dude, we can't risk that.
Yeah, we shut it down.
And then these giant parties we'd throw had to stop, and it felt very lonely. like after. And normally I wouldn't really tell somebody what the song is about for me because it could take from what you feel from it.
Yeah.
But I guess the sentiment's the same without going too much. It's not directly talking about that story, but like that feeling of you like never feel as alone. You never feel more alone than when you're like alone and sad.
Yeah.
You know, like that emotion, and that's what we were all feeling.
And just to compound on that, because again, I'm with him. Like I like when people kind of I don't want to give too much away to the song. You know, I like people coming up with their own, but basically, you know, it's the person that owned the property, which is a very close family friend of mine. Basically, because it was how horrible of an ending and what had happened, everyone like treated him like a leper and completely turned their backs on him. And that was kind of, I think, part of the inspiration too, which is just that feeling of, you know, oh, everyone's your best friend when you're having the parties and everything, and then something horrible happens, and it's nobody's fault necessarily, but you were all here, and then just everybody just shunned him and turned their back on him, and it you know,
it wasn't fair.
And it wasn't fair,
really
yeah.
Wasn't.
And
just like they took. Yeah.
So it's just, you know, just being in that mindset of, you know, walking away from someone that doesn't deserve it, you know, just because you're scared or because you're. Whatever the reason may be, you know.
Yeah. Well, when like groups of people need a scapegoat, and somebody I don't know, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart for that person.
Yeah.
All is better now.
Well, we worked through it.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
Now it's gonna be weird to
well,
sing
no,
a
it's
song. Like, you know, like really like
I don't.
I've been hanging on every lyric.
Yeah,
no, me too.
Because I still live on that property. That barn now that we still have parties in is my home studio now.
Nice.
And
every
so
night
have a
they
happy
always
story then. And, you know, not happy, but
it's got it's got
it's
the place now has a better vibe and chi to it. It's healed.
Yeah, it's true.
We'd always dedicate it to him every night when we play it. I'm begging out for you to call on me, but don't fall on me. I really need your strength. Oh, the nights are getting colder now. We're getting older now. Really makes you think. Nobody knows you when you're down. Well, this is what I found. With nothing left to say, just turn and walk away. I'm so tired of asking why. It's so hard to say goodbye. With nothing left to say, just turn and walk away. Just turn and walk away. I'm wishing the best for you. I wish I could rest for you and take your pain. But hope will only ease your mind. It only wastes your time. It'll drive you insane. Nobody knows you when you're down. Well, this is what I found. With nothing left to say, just turn and walk away. So tired of asking why. It's so hard to say goodbye. With nothing left to say, just turn and walk away. Just turn and walk away. And I know it's you. And all you need me to. It's all you need me. 'Cause I know it's you. And all you need me to. It's all you need me. I know it's you. Oh, to say. Just turn and walk away. I'm so tired of asking why. It's so hard to say goodbye. Nothing left to say. Just turn and walk away. Nobody knows you when you're down. Well, this is what I found. Nothing left to say. You gotta turn and walk away. So tired of asking why. It's so hard to say goodbye. Well, nothing left to say. Just turn and walk away. Just turn and walk.
Nice.
Yeah,
Boys.
it's been a while.
Great tune. Great
Song almost
knowing
always
this.
makes us
Almost,
cry.
almost didn't remember it.
And great story, just knowing the story
Yeah,
before
yeah,
listening to
yeah.
that tune.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so you wrote the lyrics?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then did you go lyrics first or did you go music first
Yeah.
on that one?
That one probably was like, one thing I do,
Melodies are great.
if I want to write a song that's like,
Can I get a water by any chance?
Yeah, of course.
write
yeah.
a song about something, I tend to write
Sorry.
a bunch of lyrics. So I think with that one I wrote like, nobody knows you when you're down, this is what I found.
Yeah.
With nothing left to say, turn, walk away. I probably had that like line in my phone. And then it was like, well, let's write that song. It was like, oh, that feels good,
And I was playing at that time. We had, because when we switched to the Highway Poets, because we're Hillside Fire for many years, and the Highway Poets was this idea that Sebastian had come up with. Was kind of originally going to be like a solo, not a solo album, but it was like a concept thing that he had kind of come up with.
I was kind of making fun of myself for jumping genres because I was like, I
It was
just want to make a
bluegrass
bluegrass
kind of
record.
thing,
We just kind of this high Sierra that was really bluegrass heavy, and it was a lot of Del McCoury and Devil Makes Three.
And
I was like, God, that vibe,
Yeah.
I'm digging that, and it's just really like
and
so this kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we on a tour basically out to Texas. We had weeks on the road. He was
I told him I had wrote a bluegrass
telling me
record.
this.
Yeah.
And
Like
it got
that.
by the end of it, literally we all came up with these fake names, and we came up with this, we like expanded on his idea and
Yeah.
just
It
tried
was
to.
really fun because we
And
were
it
like
was really fun,
We were
yeah.
sort of rock band on like a rock and roll
So I
tour.
played banjo on it originally, actually.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a rock and roll tour, and I was like, "Hey guys, I got this thing. You're gonna laugh at me. I wrote a bluegrass record. I'm gonna call myself Johnny Haggard.
Yeah.
and it's gonna be called Johnny Haggard, the Highway Poet." And they were like,
Yeah.
"Dude, I want to be on a bluegrass record." I was
Yeah.
like, "What?
Yeah.
all right."
Thank you.
And so, so we just when we got home from that, we set up a bunch of mics in our living room and we cut the whole record just in front of mics.
It's on Spotify.
Yeah, it's on
all
Spotify.
that. Yep.
The cover of it is the Phoenix
the
Theater
Phoenix
from
Theater.
1930.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That's the first
There's
place
some-
I saw Devil Makes Three.
There's some
Yeah,
great
there
there's
you
some
go.
great songs on that record.
So how does that song feel, right? You go through the experience, you write the song, and then it gets to a point where you want to share it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You come on stage, you play it, and you see a reaction from a crowd.
Yeah.
Well, how does it hit you?
Some songs get different reactions. Sometimes you can't tell if it's even working. Sometimes you can't tell if the sound is weird. And you're like, do they not like? It's hard to tell. That's one of those songs
That one
it
every
definitely-
time.
Yeah.
It sucks you in because right away you're like, it's like to me in my brain it's like classic pop. Radio pop, like a timeless pop.
Yeah.
This could be
Every time
a
we play
Stones
that
acoustic song, or it could be Brandon Carlisle. This
Yeah.
could be fucking Jewel for all you
Yeah.
know. Like it could be literally, it's just classic pop. And I think that's what it made me like even start writing like a pop like. I'm begging out for you to call on me. That's just like a pop line. Don't fall on me.
But every time we play that
Need
song,
your strength.
Everyone's-
always positive
Yeah.
reactions.
Yeah, everyone hooks in.
Every time it's always like heartfelt.
Yeah.
People will walk up to us after shows and go like, "That song really meant something."
Well, it
You know,
usually
like-
starts like dum 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 dum.
Well, that was the rock version. But on the original version on the record, because I actually listened to it today because I had to kind of remind myself of a few things. It's real mellow like that, and it's got the banjo doing this cool roll melody that.
Well, that whole
ends up
record was
being that.
Shane, our drummer at the time, was playing kick drum with his foot and banjo or mandolin.
Yeah.
And then I would play guitar and sing and tambourine on the the twos and fours.
Yeah.
So like the whole record was like that. So there's no
Yeah.
drums on the whole record except I think he put shaker on like maybe 2 songs.
Yeah, yeah.
So you say everyone connects, or most of the time you play a room, they connect with that. Then how does that or energy transfer to you on stage? Like when you see a crowd connecting.
me
in that
personally,
moment.
That fucks me up a little bit. to be
Does
honest.
it?
Yeah, I prefer to almost feel like I'm doing poorly and giving it my all, like just like going like I'm not going to think about whether I'm doing good or bad. I'm just going.
So you
when
get too
people are into
comfortable?
it, no, I tend to go like once I go like I'm doing good, I'm done.
Got it.
Yeah.
Like for me, magic
I'm the
lies in this
opposite,
like
yeah.
place of non-emotion, which is so weird. That's why I can be honest, because it's like if you really want like what's like the what everybody really wants to see is like the like fly on the wall of the person writing the song or the band nailing that take in the rehearsal studio. So it's like if you're up there live, like nobody knows you when you're down. Oh, this is what I found. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, it's like so like for my head, I like want to turn off being there as much as I can for every song. And some songs are funky and upbeat and fun, so you kind of have to.
And I'm the opposite actually. Like when I see the connection, it boosts it makes me feel better. It makes me play better. Yeah. And that song specifically, when I see a connection in the crowd, that's one of those songs. Like I've definitely cried numerous times on stage in front of a lot of people because that song just hits me really hard. And there's just so many memories of we've played it in so many. Memorials, it's at special points in our lives, and just it's got a lot of memories built in with it. Yeah. So there's a lot of emotion behind it.
It's also our biggest streaming song too, actually.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of
for us like
better songs.
Songs like that don't always get to be the best live. Like even if it's a show, like if you're playing the Mystic, that song is gonna crush. But if you're playing like a brewery event. People like shuts it down like it's that's like the one since we never really popped off to be like huge superstars where people are buying tickets to come see us. A lot of times we just get to be like this epic band at an event. Yeah. And even if they're like we're stoked to see it, we really look up to you guys. They're not necessarily there to listen to every word and hang on every chord.
Yeah. Sure.
So we have, I think, especially me as a songwriter and like a cliche people pleaser. Like I'm like. I've gotten good at like I know what a situation I can like see a situation a mile away. Yeah, I can book a show 3 months from now and be like, okay, I know exactly what that is gonna need to be as successful as possible. Yeah, and it's be like, okay, that's gonna be all.
We can read the crowd.
So that's really gonna be all. So let's do a rock and roll show. And also the band is a big one. I know like if Travis and I were to do like an acoustic set somewhere, it'd be easy to figure that one out. But like, okay, but what drummer's gonna be playing drums for this situation? Yeah, that drummer's probably gonna be a little loud in that situation. So you might want to write the set list to where they don't take off as hard and start bashing the shit. Like, there's a lot of elements when you're trench rockers.
Well, do you shift the set list based on the energy of the crowd?
Yeah,
do you guys do that? Like, will you read the crowd and be like, "We're losing them," and we're?
I don't think we've ever actually played a set list once ever
as written.
Ever once. Yeah, we've written hundreds of them. Yeah, printed them out. Big stages, festivals, it was fine. But like, it's a beautiful thing that I love about Sebastian is his spontaneity, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But the point is that we did it, and it was like, who cares? And we're stronger for it. But
you learn from it
because you learn from it.
Because we do that, and I love the guys for like letting me be like that. But like almost like in my own defense, it's like. It's never just to be like fucking crazy. It's never like wow, God, bitch. It's not. Yeah. It's literally me going. Okay, there's something that I can't freaking fathom that I need to find. The only way to do that is to go and shit the bed. Yeah. And you're like, what is it? And then when you hit it and you know it's gold, you're like, I'm good at knowing when it's gold when the shtick is right. Like you'd be like, this is a great closer. This is a great opener. Yeah. This is a killer middle song. We always play this song after this song, no matter where I end up putting that one song in the set, or if we change it all up on everybody.
And then on the
because you learn what does always work no matter where it lives.
Do you have that song to flip a crowd? Is there one song that you guys will always go to? Be like, we need to get them back.
That's going to be different to the moment.
It depends on the moment.
So you're saying brewery?
Because so if you're doing like a brewery event and we play Walk Away and like literally nobody claps, or people are like. Good job, you're like, okay, they're not engaged.
Then we're gonna go into fast, funky, let's hit something or
we'll do our funnest not closing tune, Like we're gonna jump this or skip this. I think we've gotten to a point where we can kind of see it in advance. Yeah, and you can like play one song, and be like, and win them over, and know that rocked, and you're like, oh, I see what kind of crowd this is.
And also,
when we get to Walk Away, we're not gonna do it. Maybe we'll hit them with like 3 big banging songs, so they want that breath of air.
And also the three of, especially the trio, like Taylor, myself, and Sebastian, we just know each other so well now that. We also have had, we read it with Sebastian too. So like sometimes Sebastian will go for a change and then we'll go, no, trust us. like 2 out of 3 doctors agree,
Yeah.
and we go no, let's stick with this one, and sometimes that doesn't work, and we were actually wrong, but it's
Yeah, no,
beautiful
totally.
because we always have that.
There's an ebb and flow.
We're all in the moment trying to just read the crowd and connect as good as we can. We give that chance to be open to throw. Sometimes it's a song that's not even on the set list.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
So I want to do one more tune and then
Yeah.
a couple more questions after that. But before, what's the craziest shit you've seen in a crowd?
In a
you
crowd?
guys have driven, flown, walked, played it all.
Let's see here. Craziest thing.
What's do you have a crazy story that you remember that
Like
vividly?
while we're playing, like something crazy
While
that
you're
happened
playing?
in the crowd.
Yeah, your energy, whether it's positive or negative.
I'm
or
sure
what.
there's something.
Is there anything that sticks in your memory of
Trying
being
to
like?
think of anything. I mean,
Our crowd's usually pretty.
pretty
good.
for us,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's-
The only ones that would come to mind would be like being on tour, like out in Texas a couple times. There was definitely like some bar fights and things like that
Yeah.
that went down.
Ever come up on stage?
No.
That's like
It's
Blues
you
Brothers
just
when
see it in
they're
the
throwing
back.
bottles.
You just
Yeah.
see like something going down, and you're like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
some
yeah.
two dudes are pushing and shoving, and then security's escorting
Yeah.
them out. But nothing like crazy, like nothing specific.
No
But more of the
instruments stolen,
More of the
no-
story. More of the crazier stories are from usually me being a dick
Yeah.
after the shows and getting us into trouble or doing crazy stuff on the road.
Yeah.
Road antics and things like that.
Did that evolve as you guys stayed together longer? You got older. Like, did you get out of that, or
Yeah,
tomorrow are you
definitely.
gonna-
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I had to. I mean,
Wow, Comet.
it got to because I had a lot of ups and downs, and that's also why it's amazing that Sebastian stuck by me for so long, and that was the reason I got through a lot of it. Because there's a few times where they could have left me in the dust and just moved on, and them being by my side and giving me a chance to heal.
Make it up.
Always made it better. But you always fall. It happens. It's and
That's
definitely-
family too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
But you got to
Goes
learn
back to
from
that.
it. You have to learn
Yeah.
from it. If you don't learn from it, then that's a problem.
Repetitive mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, and one, I made a lot of
Well,
repetitive
sorry,
mistakes
yeah.
too. But it was after points of healing, and then I revert back, and then ultimately, it always ends up pushing forward in a positive direction every time,
Yeah.
which is good. I mean, it's healing, and I'm working on those things, and I have worked on them, and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, what makes us like, especially Taylor and Trav and I, like real families. They say you don't get to pick your family, and then you can often have friends that you're super close with. That you say like, oh, that's my family. But I genuinely feel like we couldn't pick each other. And trust me, like, not out of because of any ill will or anything towards anybody. I've always been a very solo individual, like in
Same
all
here.
aspects, like even like within my family, and I even like raising my kids to be very self-sufficient in a way, like learn to play and hang and like, what do you want to do? You should be able to do this, like creative, and not push them to be a certain thing. So I have tried to a fault, I'm very good at like getting into my world that I'm feeling inspired in and just sitting here and doing this.
kind of
But whenever-
isolating.
Yeah, but even at my deepest, loneliest parts, the things I think about are my family. And it is always Taylor and Trav,
Yep.
my kids, and my wife.
Yeah.
And my brother and my sister,
Yeah.
and it goes on and on.
And same here,
Like,
and I feel the same
you
way.
can't, but
same
they,
way.
the two of them actually literally live in that part of my subconscious. It's way more than just
Yeah.
guys that have been hanging out together forever. We never made it, so there's nothing really pulling us
Yeah.
to do this because, like, all right, you know what, I fucking can't stand you, so we got to go do this run
Yeah,
because we
yeah.
need to pay for our mortgage or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not the case for us.
No.
We have no drive
Yeah.
to be together other than because it feels like something we want or need
No,
to
like
do.
so Sebastian is truly my brother. I'm an only child, and I come from a big family of a lot of cousins and stuff, and they all got brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was one of those funny things in life where deep down I always really wanted a brother, and I have one. I
Well, just
really,
from a
truly
time
feel that.
investment aspect, right? Even a family, right?
Yeah.
Like my dad worked 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
So you see him an hour in the morning, and you see him as a kid 3
Yeah.
hours after work,
Yeah.
usually,
Yeah.
right? And you do that for
Yeah.
18 years.
Yeah.
How many hours? Like, for you
No,
guys living,
shoot.
playing, like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that outweighs any time
Yeah.
investment
Yeah.
of most
Yeah.
families,
and that's
right?
why, and then
that's the
that
connection.
again, that's why you go through the ups, the downs, the in betweens, the
feel
like
Well, to be honest, like I always say, like I'm super grateful for being in like a young, unsuccessful band for so long and being so passionate about it
yeah,
because it's made me.
yeah, we're lifers.
It made me it made me like a really good husband and a really good father.
Yeah.
Right.
Because all that is stuff you could walk away from that at any time, and like for whatever reason, my personality went, no, we're gonna whatever. This like 3 years of darkness, like let's just stay there and see if we can get this to the light. Family, you can't walk away from. So like the tools I learned in that, just being youthful kids making mistakes and like battling egos out and just all the things,
all the cliches,
literally all
egos,
the things that you
addictions,
could
everything.
deal with. Like going through that as just it literally made me such a good father and husband, because that stuff just feels so supernatural. You know, so
he went from when he was first starting his family, confiding in me and being like kind of like scared shitless, to becoming literally one of the greatest father figures in like that I know. I mean, he's so good. Like
good training.
Like it really it showed even in his music and his writing, his interactions with the band in general. Like, not saying it was bad or anything, but like it just you could tell that made him happier, his life better, and it expounded, to the rest of.
That's rad. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and that commitment too gets you through the dark time.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like when you reflect on that, as dark as it can get, you're like, but
dude,
remember,
he was afraid to tell me on his first child because he thought I was going to be mad at him because he thought, I was going to.
Band's done.
Band's over with, man. You're going to have kids, you sold out. I literally almost started crying, and I was like so happy. And I was like, oh my God, bro, I'm so
Huge
proud
thing.
of you. Like, are you kidding me? Kids ain't going to stop this. Like,
well, and a good point, and this is on a post that you made a while back that really stuck with me on that, was you said at one point in your head, you posted on this, that you thought once you had kids in a family that music was going to take the back seat, and then you made a decision one day and said, fuck it, man, this is a passion and a love. I'm going to intertwine the two and make it work, and it stuck with me.
Well, I get very laser focused on things. Is how I can it's a strength because I can accomplish a lot of stuff, especially from an outsider looking in. Like, to me, I always feel like I'm not accomplishing anything because
but he's constantly he's always putting stuff out, and but from the outsider perspective.
But so to that point of what you're saying is, what I kind of went through is, I thought that I was gonna never write again because I was like, I have to work so hard at this. I'm not good enough at writing to like not write at least a song every single day and still be a good writer. I have to practice singing like every day, or I'm not gonna be a good singer. I'm never gonna practice guitar because I'm terrible at practicing guitar. But it's like I thought that when kids came, I was like, well, you know what? Now that is all gone, I'm just gonna have to just never do music again because I'll never be good enough. I'm already not good enough now, so I'm definitely not. And it was the exact opposite. It turned out that what I needed was less music in my life to make better music faster. And the inspiration that came from just not being fucking selfish. I'm an extremely selfish person, like such a selfish person. And not like a negative way, not like leave you on the street to die selfish, not not pull over for an accident selfish, but selfish in the sense of where I will hyper-focus into something I'm really into and will forget everything around me.
Fuels your drive.
For like, it seems almost endless. I have yet to find.
It's not like an evil selfish. It's just he's just so passionate.
Driven,
is a better word than driven. That he kind of puts the blinders on. And
you can't be selfish
really
with kids. And so it taught me. It kind of showed me that like within my selfishness, that I call it selfish is probably a different word. It's like I kind of went like, I couldn't help but not do anything but like help my kids and love them and want to be there for them. I was never leaving them alone to go do something. I was like, oh shit, so maybe I'm not as selfish as I think. Maybe I just need to like align priorities or something.
And he lucked out on having his beautiful wife and partner. Is literally met her, at Gale's at a show.
I've been wanting to Dreesen's.
Dude, my girlfriend at the time, it was her friend, and she was like coming out of a breakup or whatever, and my girlfriend at the time was like, it was her friend, and she was coming out of a breakup, and she was like, just come see my boyfriend's band. The guys are in the band are hot, like blah blah blah. You know, she comes in and you know, it's this the classic story. Walks in and goes, "Who's that?"
Yeah.
It's just about, you know, and then the rest, you know,
Two kids
the rest is
later.
history.
Yep.
And kids force that. I mean, that's one thing, because I think I'm like you in that sense. I get super singular, like a focus and a drive, and it is like obsessive to either conquer or perfect.
Yeah.
And with kids, you just can't.
Yeah,
Like,
you
you
can't.
have no option. And it gets to a point even with, like, there's a comedian who talks about this, and it totally sticks with me. Like, he goes in the kitchen, there's 2 bananas, and one's completely bruised and one's perfect. And he says, if I walk back to my wife, I'm giving her the bruised banana.
Yeah.
But when I walk back to my kids, they're getting the perfect banana,
Yeah.
and I'm eating the bruised one.
Yeah.
And kids, for me, have done that. Like, you know, no matter what's
Yeah.
on your
Yeah.
plate, no matter what
That
you have, it's like
selflessness.
you first.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time. It took me
Yeah.
30 plus years to get there.
Yeah.
You know,
It took,
but
it took
they
kids
flip
to
ya.
show you that, oh, you're not selfish, you just had your priorities out of whack.
Or maybe you give your wife the good banana.
Yeah,
Give mine the
yeah,
fruit.
She fucking hates bananas.
yeah, she does.
She
She
hates
really, she
bananas.
does.
She hates
hates
My
it,
wife's
like,
gonna see this. She's gonna
actually
check every
hates
banana now. Going to the
Like
living
she's
room.
got like a fear of them or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get another one. We got one more tune, and then I'll
Okay.
do a couple more questions, and we'll let.
What do you
Yeah,
think?
but-
Actually,
Relax.
it's weird this in good segues the song. So Bitter Heart.
Yeah,
end
one
of
more
it.
song, and then we got a
Okay.
podcast
Yeah.
coming in behind us.
No worries, perfect.
Yeah.
This has been so fun, by the way.
Yeah,
Thank
oh
you
God,
guys.
thanks you guys for coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dig both you guys always have. So to get you both
All right.
here and get the minutia
So
of,
fun.
Let's do
of
it.
riding.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, this is
Thank
Bitter
you.
Heart. It's a song I wrote. It's a good segue, just real quick.
Yeah.
It's a song I wrote on the road. We were in Arizona, crashing at Travis' uncle's house. Our drummer at the time and Trav were in a big argument over something. I can't remember what it was. And so I like went to the
We
bus
argued a lot.
and just like sat in the bus and wrote this song. And it's literally about like missing my wife, but then within the complexity of, she doesn't really get that I would miss her when I was away.
Yeah.
She thought that I was out there just like
Yeah,
enjoying it.
love
It's like-
enjoying. Like, oh, I
It's
get
like,
to
no,
get
it's
away
just a part of
from.
who I am is to like go out and so
Yeah.
that's the MTV Unplugged storytelling. We'll get right to it. Well, on my mind, the apple of my eye is living in the skies, has an arrow in my heart. And who knows where my story goes? I just know I'm known to get my mark. Oh no, I'm so lost without you now. There you go, girl. You got me feeling like I'm cursed. I can't write this last verse. I'm not for the life of me. And oh, who knows? A hangman get that rope. It might string us up, 'cause I know, oh good Lord, I'm meant to be free. Oh no, I'm so lost without you now. And behind every bitter heart is a man who just wants more. No more wait, child. I'm just bitter. I'm bitter enough. Oh no, I'm so lost without you now. Get him, child. Come on.
Yeah, buddy. absolute
We just wrote that. No.
honor
On
to
the
have
spot.
both of you,
Thank you,
in
man.
here today. Thank you for taking the time. How do they find you? Like what?
You can go to all the websites, highwaypoetsmusic.com,
Yep.
sebastianstjames.com.
We're on Spotify, Apple Music, all the things.
Look up at the Mystic. He'll be behind the soundboard.
Yeah.
Tall Toad. You still mess around in
no,
there?
no, I do. I do private lessons out of my home. I built a home
Okay.
studio. Like Sebastian built his home studio many years ago, and I finally followed in that footsteps, and so I'm recording
Cool.
and producing records and stuff like that.
Anyone that wants to lead like that, they get a hold of me. I put them in touch with you.
Yep.
and give them a lesson.
Honestly, just email me at travisjameshp@gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you, boys.
Stream
Yeah.
the music.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.